Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight and on Twitter, but get yourself over to the YouTube channel, get yourself subscribed and get yourself involved in the live chat as we discuss a rather disappointing night last night at Ibrox, as well as look forward to the game on Sunday against Dundee. My name's Scott Carney. Joining me tonight is Ross McLean. Ross, how are you? We were almost not here, mate, until we figured out that the same link works for this StreamYard thing. I've told you I'm not a professional, so Ross messaged me about 2 minutes ago, and have you sent a link, mate? And I went, oh, you might need that, mate, to get to do that. But we're here, Ross. We've made it.
Us youngsters know how to work a magic, mate. I'm a technology guru.
You're a whiz. You're a whiz. I think that's what you call you, a whiz, mate. Yeah.
Mate, I try my best. But no, it's good to be here, mate. It was a sobering result last night, and I don't even drink. Get your head around that. Honestly, it was a rather dull evening at Ibrox, one that we've came to expect on a Thursday. But nonetheless, we are here. It is great to see everyone in the chat. Everyone get our comments in as usual. If you're first time watching every Friday, we are here. Love to get everybody in the Friday. So it is good to be on, mate. And yes, it will be a long night ahead, speaking about the never-ending positivity that flows out of our football club.
Yeah, and here's the first bit of positivity coming in from Graham tonight. Why do you have Shamiti in the thumbnail? Because we kind of need to talk about him. That's why we need to, and it's all relevant when you hear what we're going to come on and speak about. But yes, hello chat, hello everybody. Nice to see you all. Hope you have had a good week. And yeah, of course, we're here Friday as always, as Ross says, and we're going to get into all matters Rangers. I was going to start with last night, Ross, but today, just earlier on today, there was news broke basically that the Scottish FA's key match incident panel believe that Celtic's Austin Trusty should have been sent off following the clash with Rangers goalkeeper Jack Butland in Sunday's League Cup semi-final. Knock me down with a feather, Ross. I'm telling you, I am shocked and mortified at this outcome. No, I'm not. This is exactly what we all expected. It's the lame sort of apology going along. However, this is the same association that provided Rangers with reasoning behind the reason that he was not sent off in the game on Sunday. However, their key match incident panel believe that it is a red card. Contradictory just a little bit, but this is in the category of I'm not shocked to hear that news, Ross.
Absolutely, it's mind-numbing, mate. It's mind-numbing. I mean, I said to you before we came on, that's the last two cup ties against Celtic at Hampden, ironically, that we've had the exact same treatment. You know, you've had the exact same outcome in terms of coming out and saying, yep, we got it wrong. Yep, we got it wrong. We're fed up. I don't want to, there's only so much you can go into. It is absolutely deflating. Listen, I'm not saying that Rangers would have 110% won that game last Sunday if there were 10v10, because at the end of the day, Celtic could have packed 3 or 4 past us. That's, we weren't probably the deserving team to go through, but it doesn't have to give you a chance. It's literally, it's simple. There's one more extra guy in that team, so it's decisions that again it's inconsistent and it's infuriating. So, I mean, what will happen, mate, whenever the eventual end of month VR review comes out? And it's a good point in the Rangers review. Why do we need a program to emphasize? Oh, we got this one wrong. Why do we actually need a program to go over why a decision was wrong, etc. It's. I get to say
I have my own theory on that, and it's just the Willie Collum show. Willie Collum is an egotistical maniac, and he just wants to have his own show. Anybody that ever seen Willie Collum referee a game will know it was the Willie Collum show, and it was not about the two teams playing football. And I'm not just talking Rangers and Celtic there, I'm talking any football game. He is not fit for purpose. He should never have been promoted to the job that he is in, and the YouTube thing is just so he keeps himself relevant and gives his ego the boost that it needs. That's my personal opinion on it, because I mean, it's just a lot of nonsense. Really, all Column's going to do on this next one is just hold a card saying we got this wrong, and that's kind of the way that the show should go. Really,
it is. No, it is. I do, and I don't look forward to seeing it. It's always a tricky listen sometimes, but I listen. It's one of these things. It's in the past now. I can only moan about it for so long, but third time is not a charm. SFA, it is not a charm. If we're in this same situation again, then I don't know what else. I genuinely don't know what else to do. What else can Rangers do? You and Ali made that spot on point on the pod on Club Deck Corner. Can Rangers be a wee bit, firmer with their statements, with their, intent towards it? What that is, I don't know, but we can't be pushing about. We cannot be pushing about, especially when it's deciding whether you're winning a trophy or not. It's a league game significant enough, but a semi-final in an Old Firm, that can't be happening, not at all. So it's shocking for me. But I won't lie, I've not been on my phone today. It wasn't until you mentioned it there that was the case, and I've just been struck with a wave of rage, mate. I shall hold myself back and put myself on mute for a few minutes, but that's not ideal at all.
No, and look, mate, it's what we've come to expect, and that doesn't make it anywhere near right. That it is what we've come to expect. I knew this would be the outcome. I don't think they can try and hide behind the force that was used. The force is completely irrelevant when it comes to violent conduct. It just doesn't matter how much force he uses or not. And yeah, the fact that it's now came out again, I wasn't shocked when I read it, and it's. Instead of rage, it's just unbelievable frustration, mate. It really is frustrating. They did say in that same the same news that broke that every other decision within the game, that the majority of them agreed with the decision that was taken on the park at the time. So the penalty, the Asgard red card, the Cornelius tackle, and media on Diomande, so they all agreed, which is fair, absolutely fair, because I think there was the debate, and some of them, not all of them. I think Asgard's is pretty certain, but this one was one that was never really up for debate, in my opinion, and it didn't matter what side of the city you really sat on. It's just an absolutely shocking decision, and it's too often now. It's too often in our showpiece game in Scotland, in the semi-final of a cup at the National Stadium, and it's just been shrouded in controversy because of incompetent referees and biased referees and corrupt referees and cheating referees, whatever way you want to put it. They have a certain reluctance to do anything that would benefit Rangers. It seems again, and trying not to get in my soapbox and put my tinfoil hat on, mate, but based on the evidence that we're seeing, it's just the same thing that happens over and over again. And yeah, I stand by what I said on Tuesday about the club. The club need to lead this. They have to lead this. They really do. They have to. I mean, whether it happens or not, there's no refereeing gods that you can go to and say, look, going to come in and have a look at this and see what they're all doing. But ask the question. Don't close the conversation. Don't close the narrative. Leave constant pressure on the SFA to do something to improve the standards of Scottish refereeing for everybody involved. We're a full-time league without full-time referees. We are represented in Europe, and should be 3 competitions. I know it's not been this season, but it should be 3 competitions. Should be the Champions League, should be Europa League, and it should be the Conference League. And we don't have full-time refs, and that there is a problem in itself. It's not. And referees have got a tough gig. I'm not going to say that they don't, but it's not as if they're not well paid for it as well. They are. It's good money to be a top flight referee in Scotland, but it's the lack of consequences, and it's the lack of progression, and it's the lack of identifying the problems and changing it and making changes because they don't want to. That's as simple as that. They just don't want to. It's easy enough for them just to plod along. So it's Rangers have to do more in terms of like O'Connor being involved in that game as a linesman on Sunday. He should never have been near that game. Like after last season, he should never have been near that game. But again, Rangers don't do enough. They don't put out enough pressure. They don't put the statements on. They don't make it clear that we're not happy with this. They don't make themselves a nuisance to the SFA. And there's another team in the city that have done it for years. And yeah, look, if Rangers were to come out and do it, we'll get ripped apart, and mainstream media will be people that don't like it because it's not the Rangers way. But ultimately, if we keep doing what we're doing, nothing's going to change, and it's just going to stay exactly the same. Copy and pasting the same statement from last season to this season achieves absolutely nothing, and it doesn't satisfy anybody. The fan advisory board one was much more like it for me. It really was much more like it, and that shouldn't be the case. And no offence to the fan advisory board at all either. I respect what they've said in their statement, but with the club, it's just too easy to open page, close page, book closed. Let's move on. And yeah, it's something. More needs to be done. More needs to be done about it. That's for certain. And the club are the ones that need to lead it. So yes, let's not get bogged down on that, Ross. Plenty more of positive chat to come. Don't get me wrong. We'll move on to last night's pretty disappointing 2-0 defeat to Roma. Losing to Roma is 2-0 at Ibrox is not really a thing to be massively upset about, considering the gulf between the two teams. But it was really put on show, I felt, last night, Ross, just how big that gulf is. Roma didn't really get out of first or second gear last night, and they didn't really need to. Rangers made the same defensive mistakes we've seen them make time and time again, and we just do not. We've got a team that is devoid of quality. We don't create a lot of chances. If we do create chances, we've not got people to take them. And last night was just, it was different for me, because usually in European nights over the past few years, if you're going to a game on Thursday night against Roma, you'd be right up for it. There'd be a right buzz. You would literally feel it as you were walking up to the stadium. You'd feel the buzz. There was none of that. There was an acceptance last night. It was almost apathy, I think, last night from the Rangers support, where we were just like, we know what we're coming here to watch. What was your take on last night, Ross?
Gulf is the correct word to use. It was a gulf, obviously, between us and Roma. I didn't even go as far as us and this time last year, mate. I mean, we played. It wasn't too long ago that Tottenham came up to Ibrox, and we put in a 1-1 against them. Roma as good as Tottenham? No, not a chance. Roma a good team, yes, but I don't think they're to that standard. And that that for me is the frustrating bit. The fact that at the end of the day, we've had a good amount of cash put into our club, a good amount of cash, and a good amount of players as well. And the fact that we've still managed to go backwards is that's baffling for me. It is baffling, and as I say, sobering is the minimum that describes it. It's actually, we'll get into the game, but I will mention that in the 42nd minute, my younger brother brought out his Roma scarf from when we went to Roman holiday. He changed sides. He changed to the dark side. Not even before half time. The 42nd minute, Ben McLean, you absolute traitor. So it was that kind of sums up how we watched the game last night. But aye, you sit back and it's another time where you look at social media and it's disaster for Rangers this, and it's all this the perception that we are growing now in the European eyes is that Rangers aren't what they used to be. They're not what they used to be, and that needs to come back soon. Because another thing as well, we've mentioned many times in the pod, the 49ers, a lot of their investment they'll get back on in terms of how we do in these competitions. How far we progress. They'll be watching these games probably more frustrated than usual. Obviously, they'll care about the domestic side of things, but especially in the European stage. So it's not good at all. It's not good, and it looks high. It's potentially close to impossible that we get out of the group now. We are rock bottom, and yes, it's very little words to describe it, mate. It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, 4 games, 0 points, mate, and that doesn't make for good reading. It really doesn't. And I think when you're going, and I seen what David Todd said there. He said we were conditioned to accept defeat and draws. It's been normal, Scott. I can get where you're coming from. I'll never accept that, and I've always said that. It's something that I and that's why we get called entitled fans, I suppose. But I do expect Rangers to win every game that they play. But last night, there was something in the air last night when we were going to the game. I was like, I really don't fancy seeing what we're going to do here, and that's not really based on what Danny Rule was doing. And I can be harsh on players, and I will be, but I can't be overly. It's not. I always say I can never fault a player for not having the ability like that. That you can't be annoyed at that. But I get frustrated at the people that then signed them. And last night, Ross, the biggest cheers, apart from the outstanding tifo that the UB done last night, by the way, and hats off to you, because that was absolutely incredible. Genuinely top-notch stuff, the Gladiator theme tune and everything to go with it. Really, really well done. And it's kind of made its way around the world, that just how good it was. It was very good, very well put together. So yeah, that got a great ovation, as it deserved. But there was then banners at half time about the 49ers to try and encouraging the 49ers to get things right, and then one that said, this is our lives, it's not a hobby. This is not a hobby, it's our lives, I think it said. And then it was kind of chased about by stewards all about the stand. But it was that was kind of the biggest roar, and it was followed by chants of, if you hate Patrick Stewart, clap your hands, then followed by, if you hate Kevin Thelwell, clap your hands, as well as, Kevin Thelwell, get yourself to France. And there's now nowhere for them to hide, Ross. It can't be comfortable for them to sit there and listen to that. And as well with their gaffer being there. Literally, their gaffer is sitting in the same director's box as they are, listening to the crowd say this to them. There's a clear... There's no barrier anymore. There's nobody. There's no shield. Sorry is the word I was looking for. There's no shield between... Danny Rule will get a pass. He'll get an absolute pass because of the things he's saying, the things he's doing. I mean, he helped to go and UB set up that tifo, apparently. Again, all things like that. He goes and sees the fans. He's the last guy off the pitch. He walks around the pitch after every game and claps the fans. He's doing all wee things to buy himself time, and I don't think Danny Rule should be anywhere near getting chased out of the storm. I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that, because I'm really not. He will get a pass because of... We all now know, after Russell Martin appointment, we now know with the squad that's been left behind after Russell Martin's very dramatic failed tenure at Ibrox. We are now left looking at the squad that we have, going, that's nowhere near good enough. And Thelwell's the guy that's everything. Right now, all roads lead back to Kevin Thelwell for me, Ross. There isn't nowhere really for the guy to hide now. We have success stories, as I mentioned to you just before we start, success stories, and by that I'm kind of use the term kind of loosely. I think Gassama, both you and I do quite like. After that, I'm beginning to run out of players to really speak about. Mikey Moores went a bit 180 on me, I'm not going to lie, but again, he's not our player, he's not going to be here long term. But I think he looks like a different guy under Danny Rule. The rest, you're all kind of scratching your head about where we are and what we've done here. It's the pressure now on Thelwell and Stewart, Ross. It's absolutely ginormous, and I think the fans' frustration is beginning to show so much now, because we all know there's a January coming up, and it doesn't look like Thelwell's going anywhere, and he's going to be in charge again. Which, cards on the table, Ross, gives me the absolute fear.
It wouldn't surprise me if it gives Danny Rule the fear as well, because he's at the brunt of whoever Kevin Thelwell brings in, and that's, he's, as I say, he'll get the full throttle of that. I think there's so many frustrations with it, mate, that lie deeper than the quality of the squad. The fact that I still can't get beyond the fact that the end of this season we have 1-2 defenders. You've got Inciala there, you've got Fernandez there. Obviously, players coming into a contract. That's it. That should never ever be the case. When Kevin Thelwell came in, he's here for the long term. Why aren't we building for the long term? I get that. In hindsight, yes, the manager went, but those foundations should still be there. So I think that wasn't a good start to the kind of recruitment tenure. And then you get to this stage now where we are beyond flat of what we have. Even if, again, I know comparing it's maybe not. Well, you can compare it. You look at our last signings, and Clement and the recruitment staff there at time got pelters. They brought in the likes of an Igaman. They brought in Lyle Cameron. They brought these players in. They brought in even a Jeffy, which we sold for profit. And we looked at that as, especially Jeffy, as a player who, weren't quite satisfied with. Leaps and bounds of what we currently have. Genuinely leaps and bounds. And, I don't get me wrong, I'm not going back. Jeffy at times was, hands over the eyes sort of things. But, the kind of general value that we got back for it all added up.
Yeah, you're right.
It's so that for me is very, very frustrating, and it's there needs to be change. Surely, if you're Andrew Kavanagh sat there, there's a clear outlier of what the fans are not enjoying just now. It's they made it clear about Russell Martin. They made the change. What is going to all of a sudden Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell, this isn't going to go away. It can't really go away in an instant because as you say, mate, January is their first instance, and even still to really concrete, if these players are good enough, you're talking February, March at the absolute earliest, and that's been optimistic as well. So I think there needs to be change. I get that we can't keep flipping the structure. We can't. I know it's not sustainable, but something's not right. Something's not right, and it's not sticking with the fans. And at the end of the day, do we want to be known as a club who are Statement FC? You know what I mean? That we are Banners FC. That's not Rangers. It's not a good look for Rangers. We're just talking about our reputation in terms of on the pitch. That reputation will soon grow off the pitch too. People will look at the telly. If you're anybody tuning in, Rangers are playing tonight, and you see that, it's not a good impression at all. So from an investor's point of view, you surely need to look at that and go, right, we need to act here. It's coming up to obviously international break coming up. I know they've just recently spoke in terms of whenever Danny Rowe was appointed. I can't see them coming out and making any sort of, I guess, statements regarding it. But I think if there wasn't that recent, speaking to the public, there potentially need to be something to come out because fans aren't happy, and as I say, mate, it's not going anywhere. So for me, as much as it does seem a bit backwards, the Kevin Thelwell needs to be removed. I think that's still where I stand with it.
Yeah, my opinion's not likely to change on that, mate. I even, no matter really what happens going forward, I don't think, because even as we go into January with him, and we speak about, like you were saying, that we can't continuously change structure, and look, I get that, I do, but I think even when you see the kind of the overriding consensus of everybody when Russell Martin was at the bottom of his powers, that we all knew that he had to be sacked, and I am an advocate really now of yes, we can't keep sacking managers, but we can sack the wrong people. And Russell Martin was the wrong guy, and Kevin Thelwell is the wrong guy. I think it's quite clear that he's the wrong guy. And my biggest fear is that Kavanagh's going to hide behind, we've always said this is going to take multiple windows. If his signing success rate has been what he's just done, this isn't just like a couple of windows. This is years of windows to go. Because as well, last night when it sunk into me just watching the game, I thought there's no quick fix here. There is no way to just quickly fix this, especially with Thelwell and his son going to go down to the Championship and sign 3 loan players and bring them up and expect that to make a massive difference, which just isn't going to work. It really isn't. And the longer we go on with Thelwell and Charles, the worse I believe things will get. I really do. He's squandered money away. He literally has squandered money away. And that's, say, before we even come to the kind of big name signing. You're looking at Rothwell. I know he wasn't a great deal, but still a guy that really is not good enough to be here. His legs have completely gone. Fernandez has made 1 appearance, I think, 1 or 2. I can't remember how many off the top of my head. Again, 3.5 million Peterborough fans laughing at us basically for spending that amount of money on him. Ant-Man's came in, started really well, completely fell off the boil, not even in the picture now. Asgard, has done one thing of note, in my opinion. The rest of that, he looks like a weak player. He doesn't look like he's got for the size of the guy. He doesn't really throw himself about at all, and he struggles to get into games. He struggles to control games. And then say Cornelius, I don't think he's great. Giga, can't believe somebody spent 10 million on him. I know it was in England, but still I can't believe somebody spent 10 million on him. We still have John Shooter, who is getting worse, in my opinion. I don't think he's getting any better. I think he is getting worse. And we've got a left back that is a loanee signing, and he is 19 years of age. He's played 3 games in I don't know how many years, and he's our starting left back. I mean, that alone is enough to be seriously reviewing somebody's position in terms of what they're actually doing, in terms of what his process is, in terms of what he's trying to achieve, because it doesn't even fit our trading model, if you like, signing a guy like that at 19 on loan to develop him for a year to get nothing back for it. Doesn't make any sort of sense at all. It's been an unmitigated failure from Kevin Thelwell. There's no other way around it over that window. And then you come to the main man, mate. You come to Shamiti. There's crazy rumours starting, mate, that we're going to put this guy out on loan. And that, look, I know Twitter's a crazy place and things are easily made up, but if that is the case, if that was to come to fruition, there is just no chance that Thelwell can remain on as in his current role, because this is your marquee signing. This is the second biggest transfer in our history, and we've signed him. He looks... Raw's an understatement, honestly. He's so far away from it, and I don't care what data says about how good this guy's going to be in 2-3 years. I really couldn't care less. We need a striker to put the ball in the net. We've lost Tierney, we've lost Dessers, guys that were scoring goals for Rangers, and we haven't replaced them. We really haven't. Miovski, again, a big worry for me. Really a big worry. He's not the player that I thought we were getting, and he's certainly struggling to settle into this team. But Shamiti is the one still, mate, that's always going to come back to Thelwell, I think now, is £8 million on a guy that literally couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, mate. And I don't want to be too harsh on him, but right now he's the lightning rod that is leading all criticism back to Thelwell. I just ranted there for a wee bit, but I felt like I had to get a lot off my chest. It wasn't really a rant, I was just emptying thoughts at you, Ross.
No, listen, I actually quite enjoyed that, to be fair. I quite enjoyed it. To be fair, mate, whenever you're speaking about Rangers just now, whether it's to your mates, whether it's, at work, you just find yourself going down different rabbit holes. It does kind of emphasise the unfortunate state we're in. But Shamiti going out on loan, you're right. There's your alert sign, there's your whatever. That surely can't continue, because that's £8 million. That's your 2, potentially 3 solid players. That's the way I look at it. I'm a bit of a cheapskate myself. I won't lie. I'll look at the case of, right, okay, how much value can I get out of there? I genuinely think if imagine we have 3 more permanent signings there instead of the one. It's just it makes more sense. It clearly makes more sense. So I think Shamiti will be the one. We'll probably speak about this for years to come. It'll go down as this one that I'll tell my kids about. Oh, I'll tell you about the time that we brought in this lad, and it was absolute bonfires. So it's probably a era defining signing. But that's like, I hope nothing more than the guy to just start to kick on. But I've not had any real signs of it. There was, he's for the one goal he scored. It wasn't even like it wasn't a goal I can sit back and go, yeah, that was decent. There's just, and as you mentioned, mate, in terms of the strikers, there's nobody else there who's really supplying it at all. If we put him out on loan, you need to bring 1, potentially 2 strikers in. Genuinely, if we're really struggling for firepower, it's 2 strikers completely out of the equation, and that's I don't know, if we need to bring in a left back, whoever, that'll probably be a potential another loan signing at striker. They'll be gone at the end of the season. You're then back to square one. So, if we got it right in the first, obviously hindsight's one, but if we just got it right in the first place, it would have been smashing. There's a good comment there about Jermaine Defoe. If he's not up for coming up to be the assistant to Steven Gerrard, doesn't mind bringing his boots up the road. I wouldn't mind that. Imagine Jermaine Defoe. That's what dreams would be made of just now. But aye, Chamitti's he is the talking point, mate, and I do feel for he's a young lad, came over from obviously he was at Everton, but came up in the Sporting Lisbon Academy. He'll be gutted, but we can't help but almost that be the symbolic that being the symbol of where we are just now. So it's ever frustrating.
And with the goal that he scored, he looks mightily silly for shooting the fans now. It does look pretty silly on his part. As I say, he's not anywhere near what we require. I don't think, and I suppose we all keep going, oh, you never know, could be this game, or maybe you could be this game, or it could be this game, and you're like, but before we went up to the game last night, Ali won't mind me saying this, I was like that to him, we talked about the starting 11, he was like, he's went with Schmidt, and then we started talking about this and that, and how we're going to line up, and I went, well, here's the thing, Jink Schmidt, he'll score tonight, and he's like, no, no, I was like, no, me neither, I was like, I don't think he will score tonight. Again, I know we're going to play Roma, but still, it is just shows you how much faith we have in him. Also, Ali made a point last night, we were talking about it. Next year, summer, James Tavernier is out of contract. John Suter is out of contract. Jiga is a loan player. Cornelius has an option to buy, but right now I wouldn't be really putting out any great money to keep him. I don't think he's impressed enough. Again, could be wrong by the time the end of the season comes. Yes, but right now he's okay. He is okay. Magoma's a loan player. He'll be going back. That leaves us with Fernandez. So I start going into the Enciala. I know he's still here, but and so I know seen somebody asked a question about Enciala and Fernandez getting a chance. I'm up for anybody getting a chance. I really am. I'm up to seeing if these players have it in them. We're getting to the point where this could become a development season for us, and we're going to need to try these players, and we're going to need to try and do something more with the players that we do have available, because there's a lot that we need to shift before we bring anybody in, because we're going to end up with a very inflated squad. But yeah, Ross, back to the defence stats there, the contract status of these players. We could be going into summer next year with Fernandez and Enciala as our only proper defenders that we have. How have we got here? How has this managed to happen? And we are still at a point as well, and again, no disrespect to James Tavernier, but James Tavernier's playing pretty much every position on the pitch right now, and he's been here for 10 years. It's everything again, just everything turns around and looks at Patrick Stewart and looks at Thelwell and goes, what is your response to this? This is your doing.
I know. I think whenever Thelwell came out and spoke about it, he said that he doesn't like loan signings. If we're so sure we don't like loan signings, why are we going to do them? Genuinely, because this is the situation you put yourself in. So it is honestly, mate, it didn't take too long before you start piecing it together and you sit and think of the long term. I mean, we as fans are thinking about the long term. I wish that would reflect the actual runnings of the club. But you do sit back and go, right, next season we are in a tricky spot. The one for me that I was hoping would bring that slight glimmer would have been Cornelius. I'd be like, right, this guy's played at he's played at an experienced club. He's a Canadian international. Is he the Connor Goldson replacement? Is he the guy? Because I still think we've replaced a Connor Goldson. Is it like somebody who's like a set and forget, if you will? He'll be there. And for me, I agree, mate. Cornelius probably isn't the one for me in terms of signing them permanently. CJ makes a good point. Dujon Sterling, yes, definitely, but it's another Rangers problem. How long does he last for? One guy, Casemiro, I would have potentially been quite interested in because I did think there was a bit of a player in there, but it's baffling that we've came to this situation just now, and as we're saying, mate, we're moaning about strikers. You'd probably argue the defence need fixed first. Well, it does need fixed first because, or else, unless it's Conor Barron mind playing centre back, does does Danny Rule, does he get the old boots on? Genuinely, anybody who can jump in the defence. So, there's. The time will come, mate, when it will all hit, potentially the owners in the face and go, jigs. Right, here we are, and it will likely be this time. Well, hopefully be, in May. We come to the end of the season. but we should be able to fix it before then. If we as fans can sit here and notice it, you've got a January window coming up, make the changes just now so we can get this window right, because the season's not over. Genuinely, I don't think the season is completely over in terms of it's still got a cup to play for. You obviously we're nowhere near top of the league, but stranger things have happened. But on the upwards in terms of things aren't completely rosy, but we're getting wins again in the league. The sentiment's coming back with Danny Rule. If you can get it right just now, so then you go into January and go, right, okay, right, we can bring some decent players in. What could happen at the end of this season? But do it now, because it'll get to February and be like, Celtic have dropped points, Hearts have dropped points. Where could we have been? It's such a it's one of these things, mate. I hope we have no regrets going into January and February, because that'll be the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, I would love to think they would make the change, mate, but I just don't see it. And look, there's problems throughout this entire team. There really is. I mean, the midfield, the front line, the defence, all of it needs work again. It's like it's getting very close to a rip-up job and start again. Players like Raskin that you expected to kick on, I think he's been so poor. Like, I mean, really, really poor. I'm kind of not really sure what's happening with him, but he's not been the player that we kind of expected him to be, or show the form that he expected him to be. He had one kind of good game when he came back after the whole Russell Martin fiasco, and he's come back, but he's never kicked on from that. He really hasn't. And yeah, I mean, Barron last night looked every bit like the kind of the men's v boys, as everybody was kind of quoting last night, and that's exactly what it was. Barron was just chasing shadows the majority of that game. I say Rothwell, not good enough. Diomande, for me, he's hot and cold, really, really hot and cold, far too much. Asgard doesn't offer enough. Barami's disappeared. Cameron's not really getting a look in. I mean, and that just goes on and on. It really does just go on and on. But we are a squad right now that's in complete turmoil, and I would struggle to sit and be like, that's our best starting 11, because I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know what our best starting 11 is just now, and that's a real worry. That is a real worry, considering we're in November. We're nearly halfway through a season, and I couldn't tell you what our strongest 11 is. Just based on players' form being so up and down, about the team's form being so up and down, and the recruitment has just failed dramatically. We don't have enough quality. Anybody that is showing quality is giving it to somebody else that is not good enough, and yeah, it's just a horrible cycle. It's a chore right now, Rangers. They really are an absolute chore to watch. Last night was incredibly boring to sit and watch, and I can fully respect that I'm one of the lucky ones that I get to go to the games, but it was hard. It really was hard to sit and to kind of watch it, and you're in the back of your head going, right, what we can maybe score. If we get a goal, if we do that, but we were never really close. We were never really close to getting anything. And yeah, the work is just ginormous on this squad. It really is. It's scary. So I was going to ask a question tonight, Ross, about where do we recruit? Literally everywhere. Like, we literally have to recruit everywhere. Probably barring the goalkeeper. I don't think you can. I think Jack Butland's been absolutely fine. I reckon he's everybody's player of the season so far. But it's literally, name one position that we are better than we were last year, and I don't think there's one.
No, there's not. There's not for me, mate. Not for me. And that is wild when you put it like that. Even the likes of, Tierney, as much as Tierney frustrated me at times. I'll be honest, but the guy, he scored goals. We've not replaced goals like that. Igaman, I wanted the absolute world for Igaman. I'm gutted how it ended with him. Obviously, I think I'm very frustrated with how it ended, but we've not replaced that at all. Even like Leon Balogun, we've not replaced Leon Balogun.
No,
the guy
a guy that came in as backup mate for us at Rangers, and we haven't replaced him.
How is that even a thing? Like, genuinely, how is that? And, there's another guy I'd take back in a second, Leon Balogun, but you're spot on, mate. The only position there that's safe just now is between the sticks, and it's so worrying. For me, going into the start of this season, I thought, right, we've actually got a very, very strong midfield. Like, Jay, I was thinking, right, centre of the park, you've got those options there. But it's funny how literally a few wee dips in performances, like your Raskins, like your Diamandes, and it's almost like back to square one. I don't want to sound too completely, off my head, but for me, there's a very, very good prospect there, Lyle Cameron. I need to see him get a chance. I need to see him, because when he's shown it, he's brought that energy. He's brought that just bit of flair about him as well, and that's something that I want to see. But the likes of Asgard, etc., Rothwell, no, it's not. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Again, I think, as you mentioned, mate, Gisama's one for me. I'm a big fan of the guy. I know he's going through a tricky spell just now. I genuinely think the guy's on his day. He's unbelievable, and he'll make us a lot of money one day if he kicks on to be the player that I feel I know he can be. I have so much hope for the lad. But other than that, there's no real positions that we've strengthened. So I hope Mr. Thelwell's not watching, because you want to enjoy his weekend, but he's unfortunately it's an absolute slaughter every week. But I feel like we need to be honest, mate. We need to be honest with it.
Yeah, we've always got to be honest, mate. I think if I've always said that from the day we started this podcast, that if I start just saying things for effect, mate, that I don't really believe in, then what's the point in this? Like, that I'm always going to be completely honest. I think you're right. I think Gisama is the only one that I feel like, right, I can see there's a player in there, but he's now been he's not been shoehorned. He's been moved positions to shoehorn other players in that might be in form, and we're kind of sacrificing his impact that he can have on a game, because I believe that in my opinion, he is best as an out-and-out left winger, or being a kind of inside winger on the left-hand side. That is where he's most effective in games. I don't think he's nearly as effective on the right-hand side. And I feel like we should maybe go, right, you're playing on the left, definitely, so we need to work around that, because he's the only one that you can really look at, and he's shown over consistent periods, I suppose, this season, that he's a guy that he can go to. He was our go-to guy under Russell Martin. It was get the ball to Gisama and hope something happens. So he is the one that I do think could come good still, and I hope he does find some form again. But it must be difficult for anybody to really try and find form in this squad when they kind of look about and realise who they're kind of playing alongside. I do think there's a more togetherness around the team. I do feel like they're all kind of pulling in the same direction, yes, but ultimately the lack of quality is what's going to really restrict this squad from progressing, and that's Thelwell. It's as simple as that. That is Thelwell. So enjoy your weekend, Mr. Thelwell. On to the game on Sunday, Ross. Obviously, we're taking on Dundee away from home. 3 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Yes, it is 3 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. It's on Sky Sports, and we're going into that on the hope, Ross, that we continue on and we get on another run of consistent wins in this league to try and spark our domestic campaign into life a little bit. Obviously, Dundee are coming off the back of a win against Celtic, which was ultimately the end of Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. It'll be a tough game. They'll have their tails up, mate. They will fancy their chances against Rangers. That's for absolute sure. And we're going to need to be on it. But it's just crucial that Rangers continue to get 3 points right now, mate.
It is, mate. 3 points, all we can ask for, and I'm glad that we've got a manager who understands that as well. As you said, so the minute he was in the door, it's like, need to win. Doesn't matter how we do it, we need to win. So I'm very glad that we've got a guy like Danny Rowe there who understands that it's just about points on the board. I genuinely, mate, and it'll weekends like this that if we drop points, it'll frustrate me more, because. And I love to hear people in the comments think about this. I genuinely don't think that the league's completely out of the equation. I genuinely think if we tick over, if we do our own thing, I genuinely don't know what could happen. And again, it is the other side of it. I need to accept it's been a bit naive, because at the end of the day, Hearts are absolutely flying. They're absolutely flying. But a part of it does, history's told us in the past that, is it completely sustainable? I don't know. Jay, I'm trying to bring all the optimism I can, folks. I'm trying to find anything, but Jay, I do think it's just, as you say, it's about 3 points on the board, because if we do our own thing, we can focus on what we're doing, then we'll never know what could happen. So Listen, Dundee they'll be right up for it. They've had some joy against us in the past. There was an absolute blockbuster game up there. I'm pretty sure it was Dundee. That was at 4-3 last season. Is it? It was absolute sky box office stuff. So none of that, please, Rangers. I can't be doing with that on a Sunday.
A comfortable 2-0 win will just be lovely. Thanks very much.
Honestly, that's all we could ask for. Aye. So yeah, it'll be hopefully there's no rain. It'll also be a waterlogged pitch. That's the usual. That's the history.
Or drizzle. Yeah, if there's a bit of drizzle, bit of drizzle over that specific park in Dundee, then we're in for a waterlogged pitch. Yes.
Absolutely. Make sure the water bottles are well screwed on because you can't have them spilling onto the pitch. So aye. Sunday at 3, mate, is 3 points is all I can ask for.
Yeah, look, you're right. Look, I would be lying if I said that I think we're still in the league, mate. I honestly don't think we are. I think with Hearts beating Celtic, I thought, right, they've made a bit of a statement there. Nothing to say that they won't fall off, but again, I can't say for certainty that we'll go on a run where we'll be in a position, should they fall off, that kind of run that they are on, the form that they are showing. But Rangers just need to look after ourselves just now. Just don't really worry about league campaign. Just win games of football and win them in any way that you can. And I think that's one thing that Danny Rule is doing right domestically, is he's getting into these players. We just win the game. It's as simple as that. We go and we win that game. We'll worry about everything else kind of afterwards. I think he already will know what he has to do in the window coming up, but for right now, he has to pick players just to get us a win. And if it means being stuffy, if it means being compact, it means difficult for teams to find space, then yeah, I welcome it, because we got a clean sheet last time out for the first time in 650 years. So I just want them to continue on that. Obviously, it would be great to see Rangers play amazing, fast flowing, entertaining, attacking football. Yes, everything that we want to see. But right now, with the current squad, as we've just spoke about, mate, there on the pod, I don't think they've got it in them to do that. I really don't. I think the lack of quality is there for us all to see. And yeah, I just want Rangers to go there, get 3 points, get down the road, and just continue on winning in this league. And we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at after the next window. But it's just crucial that we keep on ticking off games with wins by hook or by crook. We need to win, and that's all. I don't expect an amazing performance. I just expect Rangers to win the game. But it'll be a tough ask. It will be a tough ask. Every game really is going to be tough now, but we are very much at the stage where this is game by game, and it's the way it's going to have to be. I just hope it's a winning Sunday. Do you dare try and predict a team for Sunday, Ross? Do you dare?
I've written one down. I shall give it a go. But it's a very tricky situation. We can't really predict our best start 11 just now. It is a very unfortunate situation to be in. But I shall give it a go. I'm going Butland in goal, back four, Tav, Suter, Cornelius, Magoma. Interesting seeing Adams come back in last night. I don't know if we can't still be going if Aaron's even at left back. There was even times last night.
He wasn't very good. He had a few moments where he kind of broke forward, but he wasn't very good.
You can still see he's right-footed. Like Jay, like every time, it's just you need somebody natural left-footed there. So I'm going with Magoma at left back. Midfield three is a tricky one. I agree, Raskin's not been up to the boil for me.
Sorry, Ross, I'm going to butt in. Do you think he's going to change formation? Ali was saying that I think I should go back to a 4, stop mucking about with this 3 or a 5 at the back, and go back to a kind of 4-3-3 again, or maybe even a 4-4-2. Did you think he should change?
I've went 4-3-3. I genuinely think there's a few players that I think will benefit from a 4-3-3, but genuinely I think I love having the flexibility there, but I'd like to see a traditional 4-3-3 again, to kind of see what we can do with it. So I'd go midfield. I'm actually controversial. I'm dropping Raskin. I know Ban maybe didn't have his best game last night, but I'm going a midfield 3 of Conor Barron, Diamande. I liked what I seen at Hampden, mate. I'm going Mikey Moore on the 10. Genuinely, it's completely spice it up. Mikey Moore on the 10, give him that freedom. I think that it's just something a wee bit different. And then the reason why I went 4-3-3 is because I'm going Gassama out on the left, give him that space, give him that freedom. I'm going Ant-Man on the right. Likewise, if you can give him space, if you can give him that wing to run at, I think that's where you get a fair bit of joy from Ant-Man. So I'd maybe pull him out of the cold there. And up front, I'm going Miovski. I think one thing that I saw from Miovski, I think I'm thinking, and I apologize, I could be wrong. If we played a 4-3-3 against Celtic, whenever Miovski first came in for his debut in the Old Firm, the guy looked on fire. He looked like the Miovski that I was looking for. And ever since then, I've not seen it. I can't be doing with another night, a half of football where I go, all right, get Chermiti off, get Danilo off. Yeah. I just think give Miovski the chance and give him the two wingers there that can provide a good cross for the lad and get him some goals, because he's for me the one striker that I'm looking at just now, and I just hope comes into the form because we know what he can do. So that would be my start 11, mate. Front three, my goal, first goal scorer. I'll go Miovski and 2-0 Rangers.
Yeah, score for me be the same. I would like the 3-4-3 attack mode to be initiated. I would like Gisama on the left. I would like Miovski through the middle, and I would say already people when you said Ant-Man, mate, were like but I think Ant-Man. I think give him a go on the right hand side as a proper winger. Two proper wingers, a striker, my midfield four. Again, controversially, people will be like, "Oh, I can't believe you're doing that," but ultimately at the back, I don't think we've got an out-and-out pairing that works. So we might as well have three centre halves on the pitch instead of two. So unfortunately, it would be Giga, Shooter, and Cornelius at the back for me. I'd have Tav as the right wing back. I would have Magoma as the left wing back. My midfield two, I'm really struggling like you, mate, really struggling. And it's kind of unfair on Mikey Moore, I'm not going to lie, but if we're going for a kind of 3-4-3, the what I would want, because I don't think Mikey Moore would walk on the wing, the right-hand side. I don't think we've seen that. Then again, this is a kind of reinvigorated Mikey Moore, so maybe I wouldn't be opposed to him starting there, but I think it's crucial for us to get Gisama back on the left. Raskin will start, and it'll probably be Diomande. I think maybe Barron, not 100% sure, but he did a lot of chasing the shadows last night, so maybe Diomande. But I wouldn't be playing Asgard. That's for certain. And yeah, I would be the kind of toss up between that man and Mikey Moore, I suppose, about who would start on the right for me. But yeah, I'm also going to go 2-0 Rangers, and I'm also going to go for Miovski to go first. Unoriginal, I know, but that's what I am hoping for. Just a comfortable 2-0 win would be just marvellous. And just to come on and go, that was actually all right, wasn't it? That would be good to do. That would be good to do. But I think it'll be interesting to see what he does. It really will be interesting to see what he does, and whether he changes the formation again or not. I'm not 100% sure. I think some people would like it, some people not. But the way I look at it, I don't trust any two of the centre halves really right now. So you might as well play three of them, in the hope that somehow it works. So yeah, that's what I'll go with. And yes, with fingers crossed, we speak to you on Sunday after a win. That will do us for tonight. Thank you everybody in the chat for getting involved. Really do appreciate it. Ross, for tonight, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, it's an absolute pleasure as always. Times will get better, folks. Times will get better, and it all starts this Sunday. It all starts at Dundee on Sunday, I hope. As you say, we'll be back for a reaction after the pod. And yes, I hope that I'd love nothing more than to Danilo to score a brace and Ali to be blasting Oasis for the whole weekend. Genuinely, that's Mr. Rangers. If you're listening, please, that's what we need. That's what we need. So thank you as always. That was a good chat.
Yeah, we'll be back on Sunday with a reaction pod after the game. Fingers crossed, as I say, it's a win for Rangers. That's all we've got to hope for. And yeah, well, I'll take anyone. I really will take anyone at all. Thank you again for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. That would be very much appreciated, and we'll speak to you on Sunday. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.